Good morning, friends. I think in preparation for our reflections today, we should sing a little bit of Hungarian. You feel up to it? We're going to be out of the Teal hymn book, hymn number 1043. This is a scaly blessing, and I'm going to ask Carbon to bring the lyric slide up. There we go. Now that's not actual Hungarian, but it's the Hungarian word written out phonetically. So if you just read it phonetically, hal hit al szeretet. Try it. Hal hit al szeretet. Then you're going to repeat what you just said. Hal szeretet ad béke. Hal szeretet a béke. Hal béke al áldás. Hal béke al áldás. Hal áldás ad Isten. Hal áldás ad Isten. Now this line looks long, don't get intimidated. Hal Isten a szegság nincsen. Hal Isten a szegság nincsen. Let's rise in body and our spirit. And a lot of courage. And here we go. You're going to be singing Hungarian. Everything with your lips a little bit puckered, it sounds more like Hungarian. Here we go, one more time, ready, and we go.
Really nice job. Should we have the tech team switch over to Hungarian subtitles today? Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Curtis Tanner. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a taller, middle-aged white man with gray hair. Today I'm wearing a blue shirt and a dark jacket. Leading worship today with us is our minister, the Reverend Mary Geer, Troy Fisher, our music director, and Rick Brandt-Kreutz, who leads our partner church team and worked with me today on our service. Thank you, Rick. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge, and become. We are a people of many genders, many racial identities, many economic levels, many sexual identities, and in all the ways that we are different, united as one people. We are a faith community that believes diversity is sacred and that we are enriched by the gifts that each of us brings. We affirm that we are still growing and becoming and that we learn from each other. Thank you for your presence here today. However you have arrived, we are glad you are here. Here's a few things to know about our service today, with the hope that all will feel welcome, including those of you online. Today, some of us who had the opportunity to participate in a pilgrimage this past September to Transylvania, where Unitarian beliefs emerged, will share reflection on that experience. You can learn more in the forum after church at 12:15, where we'll have more stories to tell and photos to share. Join us in the sanctuary or back in the main Zoom room after church. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those of you here in the sanctuary, you can see the sometimes creative and, I suppose, English subtitles on the screen in front and on Zoom for those of you online. We are a multi-generational community that welcomes people of all ages in this sanctuary. There is also nursery care and a storytime program for children in the classroom wing. Over here, we have some soft chairs and some toys and things to keep busy hands happy. Please be wherever you are most comfortable, here, there, or over there. We are grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning, visible and less visible. Thank you all who contribute so many ways. After the service, everyone will have a chance to discuss reflection question offered by us pilgrims. For those of you online, we invite you into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. For those of you in person, please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the Commons. The welcome team members are handing out postcards today about cottage meetings. Cottage meetings are small, intimate group gatherings in members' homes and online to share stories, build connection, enjoy refreshments, of course, and celebrate our community. These are opportunities to share with each other what OUUC means to each of us and the future we envision for our beloved community. We hope you'll join one of the many sessions with different dates and times and locations. These will be occurring throughout mid-February. Sign up now. We would truly love to see you. Each week, we highlight an opportunity for engagement here at OUUC. This week's opportunity is the Member Engagement Team. This team works to make OUUC welcoming and help everyone find ways to engage with their community. The team welcomes new members, and if you are interested, talk to our Member Engagement Specialist, Chloe. Today at 2 p.m., our new UU class on Zoom will be Who Are We? OUUC, and we'll cover our congregation's history, our physical building and grounds. All are welcome to join the class. You can find the Zoom link on the website or email the office for a link. There are many things happening here at OUUC. Check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now, as we enter into this time of worship, we invite you to open your heart and your mind to the possibility of transformation in this gathering of community. It is good to be together.
My name is Rick Brandt Kreutz. I use he, him pronouns. I'm wearing a green shirt and a red floral tie and gray hair. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world by lighting a chalice. It's a symbol of our faith tradition, and the words shared today are from Reverend Michelle Collins. Welcome all who are restless for a world renewed. We come carried by our ancestors who refused the silence of despair and dared to sing a new song. Their courage whispers through us still. Today, We resist by showing up together. We resist by keeping faith with what is not yet. Our gathering is itself an act of sacred dissent, calling us to rise and unite as co-creators of a freer tomorrow.
Welcome, everyone. I'm the Reverend Mary Geer. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an older white woman with silver and brown curly hair, short. I have dark, thick-rimmed glasses. And today I have on a white top, a blue jacket, and a stole in the colors of water. Our opening words today are offered by Andrea Hawkins Kemper. Blessed are we who gather with open hearts together in this space today. Blessed are we, the chalice lighters of resistance, justice, love, and faith. Blessed are we, the heretics, the outcasts, the walkers of our own way. Blessed are we, the transgressors, the trespassers, the passers-by, the cause takers, the defiant, and the compliant. Blessed are we, the hand extenders, the sign makers, the protesters, the protectors. Blessed are we, the trans women, the trans men, the non-binary, the cisgender, the multigender, the no gender. Blessed are we, the friend, the stranger, the lonely, the hidden, the visible, the authentic. Blessed are we who rise in solidarity. Blessed are we who cannot, and blessed are we who do not. Blessed are we, for this is our beloved community, and this is who we are. Come, let us worship together.
And blessed are we that sing. Let's rise in body and our spirit and sing however you want to sing, soft or loud. Hymn number 1 out of the Great Hymn Book, May Nothing Evil Cross This Storm.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Tanner. I use she, her pronouns. In September and October of 2025, 19 people from OUUC traveled to Transylvania in Romania on a pilgrimage to explore the roots of the Unitarian side of our faith tradition. We were joined by 8 UUs from congregations in Salem and Eugene, Oregon. Our tour was organized by the Hungarian Unitarian Church. We visited sites of historic significance dating back to the 1500s, where modern Unitarian Universalist theology evolved. Our 10-day pilgrimage included a 4-night stay in the family homes of members of our partner church in Kisholimos. OUUC has had a partnership relationship with Kisholimos since 1989, after the fall of communism. Each of the pilgrims brought small gifts to share to our host to build connection. And at the Sunday service we attended in Kisholimos, on the day of their annual Thanksgiving celebration, we exchanged congregational gifts. I presented a chalice wall hanging created by the OUUC Sewing Ministry on behalf of our congregation. In the presentation, I said in part, "To our friends at the Kisholimos Unitarian Church, we offer you this symbol of a flaming chalice in honor of our partner church relationship and as a thank you for hosting our congregational members over the years. When we light the chalice in worship, we signal the entry of the gathered community into a sacred space and illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love and a sense of justice." Ryan Bay will now describe the gifts presented to us on from the Kisholimos congregation.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Bay. I use he, him pronouns. During the Sunday service at Kisholimos, we were presented with 2 gifts to bring back to OUUC. The first gift is this handcrafted linen embroidered with red thread in a floral pattern. The colors and style are typical of Transylvania folk craft. The second is a wood carving with a Transylvanian blessing that I'll translate, unless you want to speak more Hungarian. May you always have a good road ahead of you. May the wind blow behind you. May the sun warm your face. May the rain fall softly on your land. Until we meet again, may God carry you in his arms. Thank you to our Kisholimos friends.
For our story today, we are drawing upon the experience of one of our OUUC pilgrims, Jill Dole. Jill, along with her husband Bill and their son Bill Jr., have been part of our community for about a year and a half. When Jill heard about our pilgrimage and the partnership with a village in Transylvania, she was very excited to be part of this. In fact, her roots and her personal history of her Jewish faith go back to a small village in Transylvania named Marosh Ujvar, a village not so different from our partner village in Kisholimos. Jill's father's family has lived there for hundreds of years. Jill was able to visit the village where his original Romanian birth certificate is archived. Other relatives of Jill's came here from Temeshvar. She heard them speaking Hungarian, the language she remembers hearing as a child. Jill shared with us that she has much gratitude towards the Transylvanian Unitarians. Our host minister for our pilgrimage, Reverend Ferenc, accompanied her to Temeshvar, and she learned of how the teachings and the support of the Unitarians helped keep the Jewish community in Transylvania safe. Jill shared with us that every day she is back home, she thinks of returning to Hungarian-speaking Transylvania. Jill notes, "A land that reveres its ancient spaces in the midst of modernization." This ends our story.
Each Sunday, we engage in spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. This is an opportunity to express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, for the network of relationships in which we all live, and for the presence of this community. We each have the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create an offering, together we're able to do much more than we could do alone. If you are new or visiting us for the first time or second time, you're our guest, and we do not expect you to contribute. However, if you are moved to be part of this offering, what you share will be received with gratitude. Today's offering will go to support scholarships and other projects benefiting our partner church, the Unitarian Parish in Chișinău, Romania. In 2025, we provided several scholarships to students, and we hope to sponsor several students again this year. Over the years, we've helped to restore the historic Chișinău congregation, furniture, organ, and many other projects in collaboration with past ministers like Reverend Istvan and Reverend Levente, the current minister, and the congregation in Chișinău. Finally, if something sparks your interest today or a desire to participate or serve, please talk to me or one of our partner church members or one of our team members or any of those who are friends around our table in the Commons today. For those online, or with one of our ministers as well. For those online, just put a note in the chat and we're happy to talk with you and reach out to you. So now here's a brief slideshow with children's music and from Reverend Levente, our minister in Chișinău. We offer our thanks to all who give today, including those who give to the offering electronically. You can find out about that in the order of service or on the OUUC website. And now may the offering be generously given, and it is gratefully received.
Megpiheni, megnikroni, hosat joitung, istanung. Metahakbein, ujaberot, chak telalad, lehetung. Unus feung, por pahotva, megre megve, megnukodva, tekin lung, radisten nu.
I know that I was delighted to see that pizza seems to be the universal language among youth across the world. How fun is that? And the generosity of what you have given today will help send some of those youth to high school, which is away from their village and boarding. So thank you so much for your generosity in all the ways that you share your many gifts. This morning, we do what humans have done for all of our existence and what humans around the world do. We gather in times of worry and fear, and we gather in times of celebration and joy. We come together bringing all that's on our minds and in our hearts, and so let's open our hearts to that complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You'll hear a drumbeat. I invite you to allow its resonance into your body. It's the heartbeat of life, the heartbeat of our community. Right now, I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. Feel the air as it enters your body, nourishing your body. Feel the earth solid beneath us. Feel the warmth of connection. This morning, OUUC member Bobby Adams shares that her beloved husband, Richard Sissel, died yesterday due to a massive stroke that he suffered on Friday. Bobby says that Richard was the love of her life, and they had been married for over 50 years. Bobby has family on the way to be with her, and friends around her supporting her, so there's no needs from us right now except that she would appreciate our care and our prayers, and cards are welcome. You can find her address in Realm, or you can ask Victoria in the church office. Bobby, we are holding you in love as you mourn and as you take in this new reality of your life. Know that we love you and you are not alone. And we place a stone in the water this morning for the heartbreak that we share with the people of Minneapolis as they mourn the killing of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother and legal observer who was shot by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. We especially send our care to the people of Minneapolis, which includes our OUUC finance manager, Isaac Jennings. He and his family live just a few blocks away from where these events took place. They are fine. Even as we experience the heartbreak while we watch national and world events unfold in ways that are not in alignment with our values, we stand firm and we proclaim that everyone is worthy of safety and of liberty. Just take a moment to breathe. Feel what you feel. And know that we are not alone. And now we open our circle wide. For those on Zoom, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those of us in the sanctuary will be able to see your sharing on the screen, and it will be shared with me and the pastoral care team. For those on site today, I invite you to come forward when you're ready. If there's something you'd like to bring into our community this morning, you may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Let's hear the heartbeat of our community as we open our hearts in love and care to all who share today. We'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone placed in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken this day. We hold together all that has been shared. May you feel yourself witnessed. May you know that you are loved. I invite you to find a position that supports your ability to breathe and offers reflection. And as you settle in, breathe. Breathe in deeply. The air nourishes your body, every cell enriched with life-giving air and spirit. My prayer is that we remember the foundations of our faith, our sources of inspiration and strength, those ancestors who stood for the values of interconnection and justice, those who showed compassion as they worked for equity and inclusion, those who practiced resistance and resilience in their actions and lived it in their lives. They passed this work to us. It continues, and there is much to do. In these times, may we be inspired by our history and by our ancestors. May we be nourished by our vision of a loving and just world. May our hearts and hands remain open to the dream of the peace that comes from justice. Amen. Let's be in silence together.
I invite you to remain seated and let's sing together hymn number 352, Find a Stillness.
Silence,
Good morning. I'm Frances Tanaka, and I'm going to be talking about how we got started with our partner church in Kisholimos. In the fall of 2000, I was adjusting to a whole new life here in Olympia. My husband of 25 years had passed away the year before. My daughters were all grown up and living far away. I had quit my job teaching English to immigrants at Centralia College because before my husband's cancer diagnosis, we were going to go to Japan for a year. We had our passports, tickets, everything. And he would have retired after that, and then we would have traveled the world for a while. I think we were going to go to Brazil first. Suddenly, I had a lot of time on my hands in Centralia. I had been curious about Unitarian Universalism and started to come up here on Sunday services, and soon joined the choir. My husband was getting his cancer treatment up here too, and towards the end he was too tired to travel back and forth so much, so we started renting a condo here where I still live. I can't remember who it was that suggested I get involved in the partner church program. Our congregation had been matched with the congregation of Kisholimos, a small village in Transylvania, part of Romania, where many people still speak Hungarian. Two women from Bremerton wanted to visit their partner church too, but needed 2 more people to make it valid. So our interim minister, Shirley Rank, was interested, and she and I decided to join them and make a trip. We left in late September. The partner church program between Unitarian churches in Transylvania and the United States had started long before World War II, but was closed down when Soviet allied dictatorship Ceausescu came into power. In fact, they couldn't have church services during that time, and some pastors were jailed. After Ceausescu's downfall, they could have church service again, but the church needed a lot of repairs, and they couldn't use it in the winter because there wasn't any heat in there. So they met in the parsonage instead then. We were greeted by the pastor István Berai, who had just recently graduated from seminary school, and Kisholimos was his first congregation. He had one of the 2 cars in the village. Everyone else had horse and cart to get around, and 1 or 2 cows, which all joined together, maybe with some goats too, to go out to pasture through the mud early in the morning and come back and go to their own barns in town after late afternoon. It's really, really fun to see those cows know where they're supposed to go. They just come here, yeah, this is my place. Yeah, I'm here. They really know where they're going to get their feed. We were invited to the homes of many people and got to see how they made bread in outdoor ovens and wove fabric, like you saw with our gifts. They kept vegetable gardens and milked their cows. And they sold a lot of that milk. There would be a truck come in and get the milk just about every day. We also sampled Polenka. And somebody between services said, "You need to explain what Polenka is." Troy knows about it. I think you get the idea what Polenka is. Anyway, it's made in the village. And they want to serve it to you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I said, well, maybe not breakfast. Istvan and his girlfriend, Eniku, had taken really good care of us in the parsonage, and we wanted to thank them by taking them out to dinner in a restaurant in a larger town nearby before we left. During the meal, Shirley and I decided to go to the restroom and stayed a little longer than we needed to. And while we were gone, Istvan proposed to Eniku. I went again by myself the next year and stayed 2 weeks in the village, helping Eniko teach her English class at the grade school in town. And I also tutored some of the adults in the evening with English. If students wanted to go to high school at that time, like they said before, they needed to go to a boarding school in a bigger city. And this could be quite expensive for them. And through the years, and continuing now, besides the building projects, we're also providing scholarships to students needing them. In 2004, our choir went on a memorable trip to Kisholimos for Easter and a singing tour around other Unitarian churches in Transylvania. We still have fond memories of that trip, and some Palenka was involved. I did more trips after that with smaller groups, and the last time I'd been there was in 2013. So that was kind of a long time ago. Let's see, I think I got two that. Okay. So in preparing for our trip this past fall, I was worried about how I would get through that mud that you just saw with my new dress shoes. Imagine my surprise to see that every street in town was now paved with mini cars. Can you believe the difference? I was just shocked. And I thought maybe they would have had the main street paved, but all the streets in the village were paved. I just couldn't believe it. And my host family had built a lovely new home with a dishwasher in it. I just remember Eniko having to wash dishes by hand in a tiny little sink with not much place to put them to dry. Anyway, I was really happy that our hostess had a nice dishwasher. They had good jobs out of town, too, that they could drive to in the morning. Things were so much better for everyone there than in the past. After our tour, I was able to visit Istvan and Eniko again at their new church in the town they had both grown up in. Their son Tomasz, who I had seen as a baby and a little boy, was all grown up and was starting his third year in seminary in Koleshvar. Okay, let's see a picture of him. There he is. I got to have a visit with this charming young man when our group was staying a few days there. He and his colleagues are the future of Unitarianism in Transylvania. And they are thinking differently than their grandparents, just like we are. To me, the main activity of the Partner Church program was to build friendships. And my friendship with Istvan and Eniko exists to this day. Thank you.
Hi. I was privileged to help organize our pilgrimage this last year, along with Reverend Curtis Tanner and many others from our group. We had a great time putting that together. And this is a picture of Cheryl and John Tafajian traveling with our group to an adjacent village called Nagasholimos. So there's Kisholimos, which is our partner church village, and then there's Nagasholimos, which is just adjacent. And Kisholimos means small eagle, Nagasholimos means big eagle, even though Kisholimos is a bigger town. So go figure. John remembers a story that Reverend Levante told when we went to the sanctuary there in Nagasholimos of the Unitarian minister who was there around the time of World War I. And while that minister was away serving with the war effort, the Calvinist minister in town began to serve all of the people. So by the time this minister came back, everybody in the village, or most of the village, had become Calvinist and were no longer Unitarian. So you can see the effect of that today, that there's very, very few, only a couple Unitarians left in this village, Nagasholimos. And the sanctuary, in the past, they had visions of restoring it, and now they're pretty much going to let it go because there's just not a congregation there in that village. So it makes me think, and it made John think, that what happened in 1915 continues to have a strong impact today. So on our way back to Kisholimos, Reverend Levante made a point to stop when he saw one of his few Unitarian parishioners there in Nagasholimos. And the kindness and generosity that we got to witness there exemplified this sense of ongoing generosity that all of us experience throughout our entire village with the Kisholimos congregation. While history has left some changes in its wake, love and service continue to thrive and flourish. Ferenc David, also known as Francis David, is considered the most important founder of Unitarianism in Transylvania. Here, our pilgrimage group is gathered in the bishop's office in Kolishvar in front of the 19th century painting of Ferenc David. And this painting dates to 300 years after Ferenc David preached to the crowds in Kolishvar. Now, we're not sure quite what he looked like, maybe something like this painting or maybe something like this guy, I don't know. But this is a modern statue of outside the Unitarian High School there in Kolishvar. And the story we have heard of this man is quite compelling. Despite great odds, he rose to prominence, became a bishop, leading the church with unorthodox views that were rarely tolerated in the 16th century. He changed his religion 4 times. He was born a Catholic, became a Lutheran, and then a Calvinist, and finally a Unitarian. And Prince Janos Sigismund, who ruled Transylvania, had a similar path, and that led him to Unitarianism. So, in reflecting on this, changing religions in the 16th century determined a person's entire life. It has probably little comparison to kind of the individual changes that we might make today. Even so, I can't help but reflect how I've changed my religion 4 times. From my childhood Christian fundamentalism to Presbyterianism in college to then 10 years as a liberal Mennonite, and then becoming a UU 25 years ago. Perhaps some of you can relate a little bit to that story, changing your religion. I feel a kinship with Ferenc David and his pilgrimage to a more open, rational, and tolerant faith. We journeyed to the fortress of Diva, where Ferenc David was imprisoned and died. And there's no actual grave exists marking his passing, but a memorial has been constructed where pilgrims can come and reflect. Our leader, Reverend Ferenc Miko, recounted the story of Ferenc David and his refusal to compromise in the face of his ongoing questioning of orthodoxy, his commitment to religious liberty with an emphasis on reason. He was prosecuted by fellow Unitarian Giorgio Biandrata, whose willingness to compromise with the powers of his day likely led to the survival of Transylvanian Unitarianism today. We sang together there the song that we sang here, Find a Stillness. with Reverend Ferenc, and he said he was able to sing it because it was a familiar Unitarian melody. Perhaps the most important history and legacy of Ferenc David and his fellow reformers and Prince János Sigismund is the Edict of Torda. Many of you are familiar with the edict. It was the first legal precedent for freedom of religion in Europe. Here we are at the church where the Diet of Torda took place in 1568, and the modern work of art commemorating this event. Today, one of our core values as UUUs is pluralism. No religion has a corner on the truth. The edict is a key foundation stone for us. Rather than talking more about this history and about the edict, I'd like to end my sharing by sharing with you of a reading of the edict.
In every place, the preachers shall preach and explain the gospel, each according to his or her understanding of it, and if the congregation like it, well.
If not, no one shall compel them, for their souls would not be satisfied, but they shall be permitted to keep a preacher whose teachings they approve.
Therefore, let none of the superintendents or others shall abuse such preachers. No one shall be reviled for his religion by anyone. And it is not permitted that anyone should threaten anyone else by imprisonment or by removal from his or her post for their teaching. For faith is the gift of God.
My spiritual journey as a Unitarian Universalist has spanned some 25 years. And from the beginning, I felt inspired and called by 7 principles that provided me a fundamental understanding of this, our faith tradition. While these principles were recently replaced by the Unitarian Universalist Association by a set of shared values, the principles still hold meaning for me. This includes the responsibility for the acceptance of one another and the encouragement for spiritual growth. Related to this is a call for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. I have long internalized this as the amazing possibility and awesome responsibility of being a Unitarian Universalist. I feel called to continually seek clarity in that which I believe, especially about the question of what is God. And with that ever-evolving, always incomplete understanding, work to align my words and actions with that understanding. What is my spiritual path towards being in right relation with that which I call God? If God is the spirit of love, what is my role in manifesting love in this world? While tantalized by tales of castles and cathedrals, tempted by reports of hearty food and prodigious palinka, I primarily signed up for the pilgrimage to Transylvania to seek a deeper understanding of ancient Unitarian principles embedded in modern UUism. However, I also embarked on this pilgrimage fully cognizant that even modern Eastern European Unitarian theology has many fundamental differences with that which we share in this and other Western UU congregations. I was intrigued by these similarities and differences, as they might provide a crucible for my own spiritual journey. At the risk of oversimplification and broad generalizations of a diverse people and their faith, here is some of what I learned. Fundamentally, Unitarianism is a rejection of the Holy Trinity espoused by traditional Christian beliefs, Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox. In the 1540s, an anti-Trinitarian branch of religious thinking emerged from scholars who studied original biblical texts. These scholars, most notably Ferenc David and his co-conspirators, could find no biblical context for separate entities of God the Father, Jesus the Son of God, and the Holy Spirit. They declared, Ej ash ishten, God is one. This heretical statement of monotheism is now the motto of the Transylvanian Church. So, if Jesus wasn't the literal Son of God, who was he? Transylvanian Unitarians would say that Jesus was a prophet. He was a unique and wise teacher of men and women on their path to God. Unitarians handle the miracles attributed to Jesus in the Bible as legends. They do not believe in literal bodily resurrection. Contemporary Unitarian theology understands that Jesus died on the cross and did not come back to life. With this clear rejection of the Holy Trinity, I was surprised, even somewhat confused, to learn that Transylvanian Unitarians identify as Christians. Probing the meaning of their Christian faith further, I came to understand that their identity flows from the importance they place on the Christian scripture of the New Testament. For them, Jesus was a prophet, a wise man whose teachings brings them closer to their one true God. They find the purest source of these teachings in the four Gospels of the Bible, the writings attributed to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They call themselves Christians because they follow the teachings of Jesus as told in the Gospel. This is a very different way of being Christian than I learned in the Protestant church of my youth, providing some cognitive dissonance and a source of deeper reflection on what Christianity implies. It opens space for the pluralism that Rick spoke of earlier. The life and death of Ferenc David was a major focal topic for our pilgrimage. We imagined standing in the place where he delivered the Edict of Torta to the assembled crowd. We visited a church where he once served as minister. And we went to that castle on a lonely hilltop where he died, imprisoned for his heretical teachings. The sin for which David was sentenced to his death was not his anti-Trinitarian teachings. No, the religious and political leaders of his time had come to tolerate this particular heresy, allowing Unitarians to practice their beliefs alongside Catholics and Reformists. No, David's sin was his continued questioning and the evolution of his theology. Ultimately, he came to the conclusion that if Jesus was not a holy being, then people should not pray to him. Pray only to God, he concluded. His persistent search for truth, meaning, and spiritual growth, the very concepts embedded in our modern UU values, that was the final straw. Authorities could not tolerate a theology that didn't stand still. Somehow familiar and safe in its finality. How fortunate we are to have a faith tradition that rejected dogma and forged a new path for those who could continue to find new thoughts and meaning to inform our theology and individual spiritual practice. In Transylvania, we met people who were understandably proud of their religious history. Hungarian Unitarians have always been a minority of people who think differently in their own homeland. And in the face of successive waves of oppression, they have endured to share their stories. And while their traditions and beliefs differ from those of Western Unitarian Universalists, they still feel somehow familiar, intertwined with our own theological DNA. Their teachings, perseverance, and stewardship of principles of religious freedom made space for our religious tradition that challenges me, and I hope many of you, to continue that search for truth and meaning. The enduring gift of Transylvanian Unitarians and their ancestors is a religious tradition that encourages an ongoing transformation of theology and spiritual practice. This is true for us as individuals, for our congregations, and for the larger association of Unitarian Universalist churches. During my affiliation with our church, my personal theology has evolved, as has the ways with which I engage with our community. Our church has made important changes in response to changing times, from measures of inclusivity, changes in our Sunday service, a letting go of old traditions and a welcoming in of the new. The Unitarian Universalist Association has replaced the 7 principles with the recently adopted values as a formal shared grounding for our churches. May we honor the memory of those who have come before us by continuing to forge new paths for which they laid down the earliest stepping stones.
I invite you to rise in body and our spirit, and let's sing together one more Hungarian hymn melody out of the Gray Hymn Book, hymn number 322, Thanks Be for These.
Distinguish our chalice with the words of Kent McCusick. In the name of all that is holy, may the connections between us inspire and sustain us. May the flame of life within us and amongst us be a sacred reminder that we are all called to serve, to grow, and to love as we continue on our journey of transformation. May you go with joy, go with commitment, go with love.